righty, it is 5:30, so let's call this meeting of the Planning Commission, January 6, 2025, to order. Let's do a roll call.
James Hamilton.
Here.
Wayne Bryant. Ron Sharon.
Here.
James Davis.
Here.
Brock Ellis.
All righty. We have a quorum, including myself, so. Have everybody been able to look over the minutes from the October 7th meeting? If so, if there's no objection, we'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes as written.
I'll make a motion.
There is Wayne.
Got a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, got a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by the same. All right, the ayes have it. Wayne, how's it doing?
Well, I'm good.
All right. There is no old business, so we're going to move straight on to new business. Consideration of a request from MGC Development for a variance regarding the use of backflow preventers. Steve?
Okay, in there you'll find there's an ordinance that's been here since time immemorial, right after they got the first jetter out here. And the first jetter was 2,000 PSI, and the one they got now is 4,000. There is the ordinance in its own every building permit requiring this backflow prevention device, and I'm gonna tell you the stories of how it started. I'd been here about a month, and we had the first jetter operation, and we managed to flush enough sewage into a mobile home over there in Cameo that was not plumbed. And since that time, we've had several other incidents, and the people were down here wanting to be paid, and the ordinance keeps us from paying it. They're notified, you gotta have it. We don't plumb without this. The other thing is, we also flowed sewage into the post office. Post office is a contract-owned building and rented out, and we managed to inundate enough junk mail over there that the Postal Service was gloriously happy they didn't have to go haul it out. You couldn't have hauled it out. It had everything from soup to nuts in there. Some people have asked us about putting in pop-ups, and pop-ups, all they do is get the health department on top of us in no uncertain terms, or else it's out in the streets, flowing down the streets. So that's the reason this has been in there, and the city's not in any position to have a cleanup crew going around, and most of the time we have done a service to get this done, but we don't propose to have it or create the deal where it comes back. Period. It's real simple. And the board, heretofore, you're all not the first ones that ask. The board heretofore has not turned it down and given a variance. They say it's there, that they're there for a reason. We're not funded for going and buying carpet or anything like that. And the little old ladies don't understand that. You all are not the ones that have to take the brunt of the ill will that goes with it. It's too simple a device to put in.
All righty. Justin, you're with MGC. Would you like to say a few words?
Please. Hey, I'm Justin Torrey. I know quite a few of y'all. I'm here for MGC as a representative. Where we stand on this is we built Forest Way subdivision off of Meadow Lane. We've done a couple remodels and stuff like that, and as far as this subdivision is concerned, we have 8 buildings that are completed or almost completed, that have all the yard lines in, that were approved by the city's inspector. And then on the second phase of this subdivision, because there's 70 doors in the subdivision, The second phase, which is 8 more buildings, they have, is when he came back and said, hey, you're gonna have to have these valves in, or these check valves in. In our experience, they're a pain because you go to snake a line, you can't snake that. You have the added cost of the check valve itself, the 2 clean outs that you have to have so that you can snake it, and it creates a problem. We're not coming in here saying, hey, we don't want to do anything like that. What we'd like to do is finish our subdivision that we started, because we set a precedent by having them approved already, our first 8 buildings. We'd like to finish this 70-door duplex subdivision, and then moving forward, continue on like we have. Ultimately, we'll follow whatever the rules are to that point, but that's kind of where we're at. We'd like to, we want to stay on the track that we're going, because in the past, we haven't had to do this, and so it wasn't a budgeted item in our subdivisions. So that wasn't in the scope of things there that we were looking at.
Does anybody have any questions or anything? Yes, sir.
If you take out the backflow preventer and you have something else in there, where does the sewer go if it does back up?
So in the past, we put pop-up valves in place right there, and we have cleanups and we have the pop-up valves, and they it was always an understanding like, hey, this is, if something happens, it's kind of on the owners to fix this. If it spills out on the ground or something like that, I don't know of any. We haven't had any instance, thank goodness, of that. But that was my understanding with the owners, is that when they built Forest Way and the other stuff that they've done, that if there was a problem, this is a long-term hold for this. They're not building to sell, so this was one of them things where they would take care of cleaning that up.
Is Forest Way owned by one crew and then leased out, or are people?
It's one person, yeah,
One
or well,
person.
three guys. Todd Mooney,
Well, okay, it's one deal.
one group of owners.
It's not in, but these places you're talking about over here, the 8 and the 72, are individually owned, right?
No. The 74 lots in the back are houses that people will buy lots, build houses on, and continue on. The 70-door duplex subdivision that we're building is all owned by MGC.
Okay, now, is it going to be continued owned by, or is it gonna be sold to individuals for these doors
No.
that you're talking
No,
about?
no, there will be no selling of the duplexes. No,
There's no plan to sell them right
no
now.
plan. Yeah, no plan.
But you don't know.
This is their retirement. This is their long-term hold. So that's their plan for
They're
now.
not individually platted, so they can't be sold.
Correct.
Would there be any plans in the future to upgrade them with the backflow prevention later on?
No.
It'd be cheaper to do it now than it would be to do it.
Right, later on. So, so if we allowed, not to go by and give you a variance, and we needed to go clean out the sewer system, and we have to go and clean it out, and it backs up into those properties, would the city not be liable for any damage done?
In my experience, I have always been the one handling those lines. As a sole owner of a full duplex community. We're not talking about single-family homes. That's where I
Right.
think we're a little confused. I'm Cliff Cabanas, by the way. I'm one of the developers. Here's the deal. The bottom line is, out there on that 82 acres, we've put 22 million on the ground on the 74 lots. We've put 14 million on the ground on our 1 acre lots. And we've put, this phase 1 is a $17 million project for almost 54 million that we've developed so far on behalf of ourselves and the community of Barling. They're not beating down the doors to do these things, and the problem that I have is this: I don't mind putting them in, but we didn't do it in Forest Way, and we've got 8 duplexes built that are high-end duplexes that are gonna rent for $1,800 a side, and we didn't have to put them in. And so my problem, folks, is I don't mind the rule, but if you're approving what we've got on one end of the street, why are we now imposing it on the other end of the street? What we're asking for is to finish the street in the loop and finish our phased-in project, and then when we start our next project, we'll put backflow preventers in. But we didn't do it in Forest Way, and we didn't do it in our remodels, and we didn't do it on the first 8 buildings that your community, your inspectors approved.
Okay, so the inspector approved it without,
Yes, sir.
Checking the-
The first 8.
The first
And
8,
so we're
okay.
asking for the following 22 to be done just like the first 8 because I'm not budgeted for it. And let me explain something to you. What I do with the backflow preventer, because I take care of that. I put a clean out on the uphill side and the downhill side. So I've got the cost of a backflow preventer, I've got the uphill side and the back side clean outs, and I handle the issues because it's a rental community. It's not individual lots that people are gonna put single family homes on, and the duplexes are not gonna be sold off on a singular basis. So all I'm asking for is the rule not to change halfway through my project when I've not budgeted for it.
Wouldn't the duplexes eventually be sold off as individual?
No, they can't be.
They can't be?
They're on one plot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they're not individually lotted and platted, I should say. And so, no, they're not gonna be. Again, I don't mind the rules. I don't mind the ordinances. I don't mind what Steve read, but essentially for a project like we're building that's one large community, what he's saying is really invalid based on how we've handled it in the past. We've handled any kind of plumbing issue. If there's a pop-up valve that happens and there's any sewer at all that comes through that, we've got trucks out there the next day because we notice it and we know what's going on there. You've not gone to any of our communities and cleaned anything up that we've done. And you know you hadn't. So all I'm asking is for the board to say, this gentleman's already put 1/3 of his project in and we didn't put them in. And they were approved by your city representative.
Would you be willing to sign a liability release?
I don't care. Sure I would. We handle it anyway with Mr. Sharon.
Okay.
We jet them, and the reason we put the clean out on the uphill and the downhill is so we can jet them and clean them out, because you can't run a jetter through a valve.
Is it the dig-in for the backflow that's expensive? Because just the backflow for 22 homes wouldn't be all that pricey, would it?
Well, it's not that expensive. It's $300 or $400, and then I've got the clean outs involved, and you
Yeah.
multiply that times 40,
Well,
and it's a
yeah.
$25,000 or $30,000 line item that I've not budgeted for, because we've done 70 others that we didn't have to put it on. My point is this: I don't care to have it. We will start the next phase with it, but you've already approved 1/3 of it without it. My position is, let's use some common sense here and let me finish my project, and then we'll shift gears and go to the next one based on the ordinance. We've brought 54 million on that spot right now, and I've got another 50 million to develop, but I'd like some cooperation from the board.
Are you, when you speak about the cleanouts, you're talking about making the sweep both up and below?
Yeah.
Okay, now, the only other thing, and I'm not sure these folks are familiar with it, on all these check valves ones that I had from the past and from Action Incorporated, We actually had the box and you pull 4 bolts out, lifted the thing out and
Because
had
they
to.
didn't put the clean outs in, Steve. We've got a solution for that. Okay?
That's the other question.
Now, on the permits, does it state on the permits that they need to have backflow prevention
No.
on the building permits? Yes, no? Don't remember? We need to look
That's
into
on the
that.
permit.
Does it say it on the permit?
It's on the form itself, I think.
No, it's on the yellow permit.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, how did they just get passed then? How did the first phase get passed?
We don't know.
Well, that's not my problem.
I understand that.
Sound like somebody didn't
Right.
do their job.
Yeah, it
to
looked
start
like
with.
somebody
That's-
slapped
yeah,
through,
that's a city issue,
slip,
not a Cliff
slip,
issue.
slip through the cracks. However, once something gets found, what do? See what I'm saying? So we're at
That's why
a,
I'm asking for a
Right.
variance to finish a few of my buildings, and then we'll get started with it.
How many more you got to go if you get a variance?
I mean, I think we've got 14 on the ground minus 40, so. 16 buildings. Again, it's just a $30,000 line item that we don't have budgeted for. I'd rather put that money on a nicer gate and keypad, so that the place looks better from the front.
So you're willing to give a liability release?
Sure. We clean it out anyway, so yes, sir, I'd be glad to do that.
Cities, that's what, I mean, that's what the backflow preventers is in there, so the city wasn't liable for running this jetter in there.
Right, I understand.
let the record show Brock Ellis did show up for the meeting, so. So do you want to make a motion for allowing the variance as long as there's a liability
Release,
release on the owners of the properties?
I'd make that motion.
I got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the
I
motion.
got a second by Brock Ellis. Let's do a roll call vote.
James Hamilton,
Yes.
Wayne Bryant.
No.
Ron Sharon,
Yes.
James Davis,
Yes.
Brock Ellis.
Yes.
All right.
That is just for the ones you've got on the ground. From now on, they'll have to be backflow preventers from now on.
No, that's for the next ones he's
For the
putting in.
next 16.
Yeah, the
is
next
what-
16.
So the way I just understood what you approved was that we would finish out the next 16 buildings, just like we did the first 8.
Yeah.
And then on our
After
next phase, everything will have backflow preventers. Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Is that what was just voted on?
that's what was voted on.
I appreciate your consideration, thank you.
All righty, anybody have any questions or anything? All right, moving along. Consideration of plans from Norse Group for a 3.85 acre development extension of Spring Hill Estates.
Norris is speaking.
All right. If you would, just state your name.
Brooks Norris.
Brooks Norris, and this is for 10 duplexes, including 10 duplexes, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell us a little bit about where it's at, where it's located, and all that fun stuff, and
I don't want to take Steve's thunder away from you. I'm just here if you got any questions.
oh, okay. Steve, you want to tell us a little bit about what we're looking at?
What you're looking at is they're going to go down to the far north end of Spring Hill Estates, and they're going to be right down there by what the people call P Street. It's not a street, it's a gas well service road, but it's close enough to P Street to call it that. And they're going to, they have gone and decided to build these in probably the last usable area that they've got right there that's even available to work on now. They have access to go to the sewer. They have access to the water. And there is a good satellite photo that is in there. And you can see that the lake in this purchase, this is the land that was zoned here a while back. You'll see the lake in the shadow and the dam failure. And I've outlined a plan to work on the lake side. But one of the things you have to do is you have to have this with enough filling to have the property high enough that you can have gravity sewer flow. And the reason is we don't ever want to get in the business of pump stations.
Yeah.
That ends up in a maintenance nightmare.
No more pumps.
And this guy has lived here, and he's lived here and seen what the pump station, he lived here, well, all of us that have seen the pump stations know why. The biggest thing here is what Brooks Norris is proposing is a way to use and utilize the lake at some time in the future. And if you do the fill placed and you make your sewer right where it'll gravity flow out, you'll have a usable feature of the lake in the future. The dam can be repaired fairly easily if you know, and I say that generously speaking, if you know how to do one of them. This dam was built like a stock pond, and it was held with a curve the wrong way. Dirt doesn't work good in tension. It's great in compression. But there's a way to fix this thing and go on. The other thing that is there, and they're very careful about this, in the future building, and you look at this piece of property it's like a pork chop. The stem of the pork chop aims down at 8th Street, which is the road to the park. Part of that can be used. The other part of it has floodplain written all over it. And you have to be extremely careful about where you do the judicious filling and how you work on it. And you have to be very careful in terms of the state of Arkansas and how you manipulate and how you leave the flow. That's why that lake serves a good portion of selling for this property that you're gonna do first, and probably every kid in town will be down there fishing.
So that lake's staying.
Yes, the lake is staying. We've, Steve Beam's got the Spring Hill subdivision duplexes, or houses going,
Yeah.
which I back up to.
Yes, sir.
And then I own a total of 60-plus acres that come all the way out on the park.
Okay.
We're gonna eventually bring in another development from the park side.
You own
With
all the
another
way out
concept?
to 22?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, this project's on 22, what we're looking at now.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna keep all the utilities at the curb of the street.
Good.
All the meters will be along the road, so this will be a private road, and with an easement that goes through it, and the sewer manholes at the road. So we're gonna bring everything to the manhole at the street, and we're gonna line the meters up at the street out there.
Oh, good idea.
And probably at the back of these duplexes, Cliff's one of them that owns land back there on the backside, 400 acres. We're gonna try to gate that thing off and put a automatic gate on it to shut down the traffic that keeps sneaking back there dumping junk out.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that'd be good.
but we will be coming back eventually with a project coming in from the other side
Yeah.
on a little community. So this is, we've got our appraisal that's fixing to be done, and we should be able to close this thing and start next week.
So
So
this is commercial property, correct?
this is duplexes.
Oh, duplexes.
Duplexes. This is duplexes. This is multifamily duplexes. So we came in and got it zoned, and the zoning went through, and now this is getting a plat so we can get Steve and Matt to get us some permits ready.
Anybody have any other questions for him or anything?
It's in the corner, Casey's, catty corner
Yeah,
to
it's,
Casey's,
yeah,
is
right
it?
here.
Okay,
No, it,
Down there to the Rock and Dam.
okay.
yeah. Back behind where 8th Street is in those duplexes.
I thought he said it went out to
See this,
22.
see right here?
Yeah.
This is Spring Hill Park right over here.
Okay, okay. That's what I was
This
thinking, but he's,
59 highway over here.
okay, perfect.
We are not proposing a fire hydrant. So that, I'm not sure where your water, I don't know where your fire hydrants are, but, I don't know, but this is the utility easement that we've created within there, but I don't know where the closest fire hydrant is.
Or are they gonna come up and connect like that?
over here.
Oh, they're off of 59 P
Yeah.
Street, right, okay.
I like to be
That's pretty important.
stone, yeah.
Yeah. Justin, do you know where the
So-
current fire hydrant is?
We need an approval or something, or? Yeah. All righty, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, we'd entertain a motion to approve the plans from the Norris Group for that 3.85 acre development extension.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? All right, let's do a roll call vote.
James Hamilton,
Yes.
Wayne Bryant,
Yes.
Ron Cherum,
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
Brooke Ellis.
Yes.
All righty. And we'll get that to the board and get you ready to go.
Thank you.
All right, next up, consideration of plans for the Ashton Place Clubhouse. All righty. How's everything going?
Going well.
All right, if you would, state your name.
Yes, sir. Chasen Garrett, architect here in Barling. I'm the architect for the project. And this proposal is for a continuation of the Ashton Place Senior Living development that's been before the commission previously, several years ago, I believe. And this will just provide an amenity for a clubhouse use to that development. So we've worked with Chief Sizemore on a hydrant issue and are ready to comply with that requirement. We need to add a couple of hydrants that aren't currently on the plans, but we have an idea of where we think they'll be best. But we'll certainly vet those with Chief Sizemore. And
Was it the spacing that we were having trouble with them on the hydrant? Huh?
There wasn't any.
Oh, well, we might need a couple, huh?
The building's 8,000 plus square feet. and
Right.
It's not sprinkler. There's no fire sprinkler system.
Oh, okay.
So this is the alternative.
Okay.
Much cheaper alternative.
Oh, yeah.
yes, yeah.
It suspiciously looks like a casino.
There might be some bingo games going on.
That'd be
there.
good. Start it in Barling.
Yeah,
I can hear that now.
Yeah.
sure they'll,
Members only, right?
yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah,
Exclusive club membership.
yeah, that's right. So,
It's on Chasen's place.
that's right, yeah.
That'd bring the house down, wouldn't it?
It'd do something, yeah, run some people off. So,
Uh,
yeah.
Tommy, you see anything else that, about the,
I sent them a list, about a week ago or last week, and they've answered everything and we're good.
okay,
This is kind of like an infill development. There's, the utility lines are around it, the sewers nearby. We know that the fire hydrant was tapped for a cattle watering expedition at one time.
Oh, gosh.
Huh? And y'all found the tap.
We found it, yeah.
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 This,
Gosh.
well, I tell you what, there's some people with gall when they go out and tap into a fire main.
Yeah.
Whoa. Anyhow, the biggest thing, this place, it is zoned right. This is a part of continuation of the same structures and deal. The biggest thing is, like Tommy said, is outside of the hydrant on 13th Street, there wasn't any hydrants out there.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, I can look at the old photos, and it was used for pasture. And it was a real thrill when they brush hogged that, because there was stumps going everywhere. But, for all of y'all, this is really for the committee. This is, you're looking at a quite detailed project, and the guy, the truss designer must have had a field day working on this one. Foundation is clay. Once you get down through the 6 inches of topsoil or a foot, it is the same clay that you'll find all the way up and down that road over there. And it'll give you a thrill working on it.
It's gonna be a gorgeous looking building.
I wish I could see it.
It'll be a real amenity to the community, cleaning up that roadside, and really the overall development will be amazing. So we're excited to be, continuing that and getting further east with it. So it won't be long before the cottages are complete, and,
This is Ashton Place Clubhouse.
yes, sir, yeah.
I've told everybody that the cottages are part of the Sebastian County penal system for the work release inmates. And this, that started a panic. We didn't get the prison, we got the work release.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for them at this time?
Nope, I'm good. Looks good to me.
How about a motion to go ahead with the plans for Ashton Place Clubhouse?
I'll make that motion.
We got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second. Let's do roll call vote.
James Hamilton,
Yes.
Wayne Bryant,
Yes.
Ron Cherim,
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
And Brock Ellis.
Yes.
All right. We got it going.
Great. Thank you all very much.
You're very welcome and thank you.
sir.
Appreciate it, everybody. All right. Do we got any reports, Mr. Steve, tonight?
We have a whole lot. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you,
All you like's finishing up, right?
That's right.
Okay. Okay. First off, the honorable man out there at Chaffee could not arrange for a meeting despite a forecast for a month in advance for January 21st. So we're gonna wait till they come back and get some sense. And since Mr. Gefkin is no longer downtown,
Probably best that we wait
we're
until we figure
gonna
out.
wait till we find out who's driving the train before we sit down with the trust. Then the next thing I wanted to tell you about is good. It says, Dear Mayor Murray, State Aid Street Committee met on December 1st, 2024 and approved funding for 37 of the 147 projects requested. Unfortunately, your request was not selected. However, I will tell you something else. The rules recently adopted by the committee no longer require you to resubmit your request. As a result, your request will remain active and no action by you is necessary. If you would like to revise your request, please submit a new request to the committee. The gentleman who handles the program has told me that he would put this in the fiscal year 2026 deal. Now, since I've seen you, you know about the railroad. I have not heard from them. I'm waiting to hear, and we'll send them the money for the railroad right-of-way. And that is one project that we can do in-house to repair the base and get the tank trap out of the road over there so that when they do come to overlay, they can proceed apace and get done. The next thing is we received a message from Ashley Smith at the Highway Department. She said, I apologize for the delayed response. We have the certification needed from Right-of-Way Division now. This office has begun drafting the office letter of authority to advertise. We will need an estimate on the line that will be used to advertise the bids. Can you send me the latest on the thing? And we have sent it to them, and it is down there. And that is the sidewalk that is on the south side of 22 Highway that starts at 22nd Street and heads for Casey's, all down the south. And then I had questions that people asked me about the north side and tying to Fort Smith, and that will be next because we want to make a crossing with a traffic light down there at Strozier. And then go down that's a wider deal on the north side, and we'll go down that way when we plan that. Now, one of the gentlemen that was here, Brooks Norris, owns that land west of Strozier Lane North, except for that small corner that Sisters of Mercy still own. But he owns up the hill and then back down the hill all the way to the concrete and down by the pump station. And his plan is to have 2 warehouse distribution centers down there on those 2, and to have a traffic light upgrade put in at 22nd Street. He has, like a lot of folks, he has friends in high places, and he is going to try to swing the traffic light, a second one, coming to the top of the hill. And I told him, I said, I'll have to remind you that the great danger coming up that hill when people come flying out of the Mazard Creek bottom is they're flying. And I said, you want to be sure and let them know that there's a traffic light ahead so nobody gets picked off in the crosswalk. And that's one of the reasons for using the existing light down there. At least they've got a chance to catch their breath and get up the hill.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that is in the works and in the happening. The next thing that we wanted to talk about, really, after the sidewalk, is what they haven't told, and they haven't put it out for consumption, but you can be looking about it. They have bought some more property that is east of our park. And the fellows that were sitting right back there are working on the design for the old grenade range property that goes down to where the interstate's gonna cross. And that has got sewer already there, water's on the south side of the road, electricity's out there, natural gas is out there. And if it is placed in there, are looking at having a development in there. And then the next thing I'll tell you is that we heard from the contractor and the contract monitor for the highway department on the interstate. If the monsoon ceases and it thaws out, they're gonna start getting the trees out. But I will tell you that Emery Sapp out of Columbia, Missouri is the contractor for the dirt work. And they are gonna haul all the equipment, and they've already videotaped H Street to assess in case there's any damage. They're gonna haul the empty trucks and any other construction equipment, empties, into the site. They're not gonna be hauling it in and out. And they're gonna go down, and I've told them about being sure that they get them a ramp to get off the end of H Street down there. We've had several citizens fleeing from the law that went airborne off the end down there and landed. And so what we're going, they know about this. And then I also talked to them about the chance that it was a grenade range. And I reminded them about CCC Construction finding the soccer ball that explodes. There was a ground burst simulator with a quarter stick of dynamite in it, and these 2 guys were out there kicking it like a soccer ball. And it didn't go off. Boom, boom, shot it later.
Oh, gosh.
But I told him, I said, you need to tell them, if it's got fins, back up.
Yeah.
I said, because I will tell you that they had everything, and I think these guys can probably tell you, but they had everything from the World War II, quote, hand grenades, to the laws, to the tow dragons, and I don't know what else they fired out there, but they you could see the little shelters where the guys got down in the bunker in case somebody had a short round. And I told him, I said, before you start in building out there and you start digging, you need to be you get the crew down and talk to them and tell them, hey, we burned it off. How many times, Tommy? 4 or 5 times? And we found stuff.
Every time?
Every time you'll find something.
Huh.
Woo. So they've been duly warned, and they start digging, and they are planning on digging north of the pipeline, which is that 8-inch OMR pipeline, and they're gonna dig back towards into the hill and to leave a pond. And I asked them to leave ponds suitable for fishing,
Yeah.
or alligators, or mosquito raising, or whatever, something, something productive.
All right, is that it? Anything else?
Did I forget anything?
I don't think of anything then.
Well,
You just need this by the next meeting, Ms. Flo?
No, by the end of the month.
end of the
Okay.
month on your financial
Okay.
statements and all that.
I was trying to
Um,
back up.
One other thing, she posted it today, but we talked about it at the last meeting. We did get approved for the park grant of $250,000. So if you guys see Megan, Kim, and Joe, thank them for going down there to Little Rock and making a good presentation
Yeah.
like they did. And I was with them. Joe wore his lucky cologne, so. And so we're glad to have that, so we'll be able to work on the park some more, get some more of that walking trail,
Yeah.
new set of bathrooms, and training equipment
So-
for everybody.
Keep in mind now about this and the deal that's here. We're to log in, and Tracy McKenna from down, works for Wapatiti, and she lives down here at Charleston. We're gonna log in by the 16th at noon down there, and they're gonna have a big check day for awardees in March. And she's talking about having folks down to have the pictures made with the local folks, okay? And the people that are coming up from the outdoor recreation. The other thing is they're gonna have a management workshop in April, and they are mandatory for all awardees. So if you want to set in on that, you can hear what's going on and know. And then the most important thing, do not do any work related to this project in the meantime. Any expenses associated with the grant project that are incurred prior to the notice to proceed won't be eligible for payment with the grant money. Now, they've agreed to handle, much like we did Mercy Crest, the track up there, and do the management and chasing all the paperwork, which gives Megan and Brooklyn and Matt and myself a little bit of a breather, okay? Because it is an encumbered federal tied grant. But the amount of money that they gave us is, as Greg said, until I just kind of glossed it over at the meeting last time about this, but this money is a matching fund, but we'll have enough money, should have, to do the bathrooms, do the track extension, playground equipment for kids, and a teenage young adult exercise station.
Kind of workout gym, like pull-ups,
Outdoor gym, yep.
stuff like that.
And if
Yeah.
you've not been out to see the second pavilion, it's up. And they have, I think Joe did, and Alex and them hauled the horse manure in to
Yeah, they were
liven
getting,
it up.
they were getting all that squared away, so, yeah.
So, Joe,
be
thank
good.
you.
Yep, should be good and
And,
green.
and if you could, share some of that lucky cologne with the rest of us.
Thank you, Joe.
It would be most appreciated, so. Does anybody from the public like to make any comments or anything? No? All right, Mr. Ron, would you do the honor, sir?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Got a motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, folks, have a wonderful day.
Second.
Oh, that was a good one.